What's good? What's good? Welcome to the Epic Entertainment Critics. I'm Antoine.
And I'm still James.
And we got a special podcast for y'all today. We are reviewing The Batman.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting.
Yeah, we were reviewing The Batman. Finally got a chance to do it, man. I wanted to see it early, but somebody had to go out of town for whatever reason. Because, really, he's really Batman. He didn't want to tell nobody. We know you Batman, dog.
I mean, we both blend into the dark pretty well, but
right.
that's about the end of that comparison.
He is darkness. He is the night. All right, but look, we're going to review The Batman, and we're going to do that spoiler discussion. But before we do anything, we got an intro. Right, we have returned to review The Batman, the brand new film by Matt Reeves. He directed the Planet of the Apes, and I think the second and third one.
The second and third one, yeah.
Right. Didn't he do something else he did Cloverfield? Mm-hmm. I can't remember what else he did, but I think he got a pretty nice filmography.
Yeah.
But yeah, but yes. So, what's your first impressions of this movie before we get all the way into it? Just on the whole.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this movie, man. And I'm watching it, man, and I'm looking like, okay. I'm waiting. I'm thinking like, okay, I'm waiting to not like something, and I'm like, I'm feeling it, man. I'm really feeling this shit. It's the score. All that, man.
But every permutation of that main score that comes in, I'm like,
you know how I knew I liked that shit? I couldn't get it out of my head, dude.
Yeah.
I had, man, look, I had the score just playing over the doom, da doom, doom, and I'm looking like, man, when I know when I really like a movie, I can't get it out of my head. I'm thinking about it all day. And, I'm going to the Family Dollar. This score playing in my head. I'm thinking like, I'm Justice. I wish somebody would shoplift up in this month. Get my ass whooped. But I couldn't get it out of my head. You know what I'm saying? That score, man. The way he slow walked with that damn score playing.
Oh, man.
I was like, yeah, I'm Justice.
I had to take myself out of it every now and again to try to be like, how big is Robert Pattinson? Because when he's coming out of the darkness,
I think they did something to make him look bigger.
That,
he looked huge.
But that theme has so much weight behind it that anybody who walks out to that is going to look bigger.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Right. Yeah. Right. I think they did tricks to make him look bigger because he looked pretty huge.
Yeah.
Because he was standing next to some people. I'm like, I know he ain't that taller than him.
Yeah.
But they made him tower over people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, he's standing on something.
He's straight up looming over people. I'm like, I know he's not that huge.
Right. But, I mean, I think he's a tall guy, though. I think he's like 6'1".
Yeah.
They made him look like he was about 6'4" or something.
Yeah.
And I'm looking like, I don't think he that big, but we'll see.
Stand out to folks who are normal levels of tall, and then he comes in, it's like.
Yeah, everybody had to look up to him, you know what I'm saying, which makes him more threatening.
Yeah. But
I was like, I don't remember that actor being that tall, but whatever. So anyway.
But the way this movie opens up, though.
But before we get into all that.
Oh, okay. You got something else. What's up?
Well, no, before we get into all that. Let's watch that final trailer.
Oh, yes.
Just so people can get that feel, that Batman feel, you know what I'm saying, before we finish this review. So we're going to watch the final trailer, and then we're going to come back to complete our review.
Police! Hands up! Stay still! Get out of here!
Fear is a tool. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning.
That's tough. Boy, she's gonna hurt you. That's really gonna hurt you.
Trying to reach you.
Burn the gun!
This is a powder keg, and Riddler's the match.
I can take care of myself.
If this continues, it won't be long before you've nothing left.
I don't care what happens to me.
It's only gonna get worse for you.
Whoa, take it easy, sweetheart.
Oh,
You hear everything they
there we
say,
go.
ain't you?
Maybe we're not so different. Who are you under there?
I'm vengeance. What's black and blue and dead all over? You. Dear God.
I got you!
Are we sure that's actually Colin Farrell?
You know, it is like, you know, those scenes you see on the trailer, you see 100 times, and you still see it, still love it.
You know what? I was almost disappointed watching that scene. That it just goes into
All right, what would you say?
I was almost disappointed watching that scene in the movie because, like, I love the way they transitioned to the logo in that trailer.
Yeah.
From that slow walk.
Yeah.
I was always like, all right, now let's pull out into the.
He's like, that should just been a promo. But yeah. I love that scene.
Imagine if that was the opening shot, though. It's like you go like
That would be dope.
go from that into the logo, and then the movie takes off.
Yeah.
From there.
Oh, yeah.
That
That'd
would've
be
been
dope,
dope.
too. So that was the trailer for the Batman.
Ashley with that score. God.
So we're gonna do a non-spoiler review for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. Then we're gonna stay tuned for check out our other. We're gonna separate the video, so check out our other spoiler discussion video where anybody seen it want to hear deep discussion on everything you liked about it. But for right now, we ain't gonna talk about spoilers. We're gonna just kind of give our thoughts and feelings and how we feel this movie was. Starting off when did you like the fact that it was similar to like they kind of did like the Rorschach kind of thing where he was narrating he was doing like he had like a journal, I guess, and it was I think they borrowed a little bit from Watchmen.
Didn't they do that in year one as well?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. So I guess maybe Batman keep a journal. I mean, I guess that would make sense. He need to, especially when he's early in his career.
Yeah.
So he's keeping notes on everything to understand when he make a mistake to go back and be like, yeah, I messed up here, and I kept detailed notes on how to correct that.
It's also I appreciate it because you can see that this isn't just some like blind crusade for him.
Right.
Like this is the first time you see it's like, oh no, this dude isn't just like getting dressed every night and just throwing himself into it. It's like every night he knows what he's going to do. Everything he does, he keeps a log of it, so it's not just like everything's blurring together and he can't differentiate. It's like he knows exactly when and where he was doing what. Right,
and he said that he was like he goes certain places where he can make a bigger impact, and because he's only one person, he can't be everywhere. And I also love that Matt Reeves actually did an amazing job. I love the fact that they made it look when they showed the bat symbol and they had people look in the dark corners like, you know what, I'm gonna just go home today. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know. He could be there. He could be there. They don't know where he is.
It's such a great like narrative device, but like the whole point of Batman existing is it's dark in Gotham. Batman could be in them shadows.
Right.
I ain't trying to catch him.
Basically, when they see that bat symbol, they know he's there.
Yeah.
They know he's out there.
Like the bat
and
is
they don't
out.
know where he could be at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The bat's out there somewhere.
Right.
And there's a lot of shadows in that doorway.
Well, they had a dude robbing the liquor store, and then he saw, and he was about to run into the alley. Then he saw like, whoa, the bat symbol up there.
And that alley kind of dark.
No, I'm good. I ain't going that way, man. And then he ended up getting hit by a car. And I don't know what happened to that guy after that.
Like he gets up and he runs off in another direction. But like I'm pretty sure he dropped all the money he just stole.
Probably.
Too. But it's like you see a couple of moments of that. It's like even like some kids doing graffiti on like a courthouse.
Yeah.
And it's like one of them like, oh
Yeah.
that bass.
Yeah, dude scared to do graffiti.
Well, if you don't punish the little crime.
Yeah.
But like because like that's the thing. It's like I always like folks always try to point out the fact that he uses fear as a tool as like a mark against Batman.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you can see it in action how that works, you might not be so critical. And when you can see, it's like, no, people are literally too afraid to commit crimes.
Right.
When they see that bat symbol in the sky.
And that is the point, to strike the fear and all
Yeah.
that. And you know what the thing is? At first it sound like, oh, that's just corny, whatever. Nobody worried about that. But when the way he did it, the way he presented it, the way Matt Reeves presented it, it felt real.
Yeah.
It felt like that fear and shock was real.
Because like this is the first time you don't just have someone telling you that they're putting fear into criminals.
Yeah.
You can see the fear in their eyes.
So I think what he do is he observe and he know when to strike to it'll get the word out. More people will know. And they had this opening scene where I guess it was like a street gang or something. They just look like some juggalos. They look like Insane Clown Posse, like they came from Insane Clown Posse concert.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, is this who are these guys? I guess they were just some street gang or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, it's just he had the scene where his first introduction, and it was a powerful moment the way they did it.
Man,
some might say over dramatic, but hey, I love
hey,
over dramatic entrances.
I'm gonna treat this like I'm gonna give this my policy on overkill in action scenes. If it's not overkill, you ain't trying hard enough.
It makes sense. Oh, I would say that. Remember the scene we saw? Okay, remember the scene we saw when he punched the dude and started punching him on the ground?
Yeah.
It made sense.
It made sense
because you want to set an example.
Yeah, but like the way they handle that, even like his walk up, you hear that theme start.
But you also heard his footsteps.
You hear his footsteps, and it's
kind of loud.
It's so heavy, and it's like I was sitting there. And at first, I was getting ready to complain. Y'all know who I am by now. I was getting ready to say, look, there's no reason for his footsteps to be that heavy and that loud. But then I started thinking about you sitting there getting ready to tune somebody up, and you hear the biggest footstep you've ever heard.
And not to mention, it's in this dark corridor, and you don't know. What the hell is that?
You don't know who or what is coming. It's Gotham, so you already know you're not the baddest thing in town.
Right. Just like, what is that? And then the way he came out of the darkness, that was a little scary.
Like,
that was a little scary.
Even if we discount the idea of Batman being a cryptid, which is the way his plan was at first was for folks to think he wasn't even human, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even if you think of Batman as a dude, this big dude dressed in all black and body armor comes stomping out of the shadows and doesn't even say a goddamn word to you. You sitting here trying to clown him, and he's just getting ready to whoop your ass. What do you do against that?
I mean, what can you do?
You shoot him, and it does nothing. What do you do against that individual?
Well, you know what? And I mean, that's the thing. And I'm gonna talk about that more on the spoiler though. I ain't gonna say I had a problem with, but I'm gonna talk about problem a little. I mean, because it wasn't perfect, but it was great. But I'm gonna need a little more explanation on that bat suit. It was things that he was doing that I was like, okay, you could do this, but at some point, I don't know if this gonna
be a bit much.
At some point, I was like, okay, you walking away from a lot of damage. We'll talk about that in
There's
spoiler.
a specific scene where I'm like, there was no reason for that suit to have done anything for you.
Right. It'll keep you alive. That's it. Bare minimum.
Maybe.
You'll stay alive.
But like, you should also be visibly effed up under it. Like, let's be real. But They even go out of their way in this, though, to get off of that subject of, like, this is the first time I really felt like Batman is a detective. Like, you see him examining evidence. You see him drawing conclusions that are like clearly derived from the evidence. He's not just like doing the Sherlock Holmes thing of looks in a general direction. Oh, the killer was 5'2", approximately 183 pounds. He has a limp on the left side, and he smokes cigars. Like,
yeah.
you know,
I mean, I guess that's his little. That's his thing, but it's like, come on, it's impossible to know all that shit.
right. But it's like with this it's every conclusion he has comes directly from the evidence, and like you could draw it yourself in real time.
Yeah. So we can talk about the detectives portion of it, where they got him, Riddler's leaving these clues or whatever, and they got him have to figure it out. And I thought so because this is a kind of a loose adaptation of Long Halloween, and I thought that I wasn't going to, because in Long Halloween I was upset that Batman felt kind of like he was a shit. He was a bad detective.
He was stupid
because he could not figure nothing out. And here I thought he was gonna be kind of like that. Then I was like, oh, he actually a good detective. He actually is figuring stuff out.
Like also it
takes time. You ain't gonna always just figure stuff out like that.
But it also makes the Riddler that much more compelling because it's not just like, oh well, Batman can't figure this out, so I guess we're not gonna touch on why dude left this clue or that clue.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like now the Riddler's clues matter because they're the focus.
Yeah.
It's not just, well, I guess I'll find someone who knows something and go beat them up.
Right. And that's the kind of things he was doing in last Halloween.
Yeah.
He was just beating people up and asking them, did you do it? Did you do it? Nope. Okay, let me ask somebody.
Why'd you kill so-and-so?
Yeah.
Bro, I didn't do it. I was out of town.
Which he had a little element of that in here where he asked people, did you do it?
But there's a clear reason why he'd be asking that.
Right, it's a clear reason. And I think he was just trying to get them to give up some kind of other information or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I thought, he was actually a good detective. This actually felt like a cop drama too.
Yeah.
Like if he wasn't Batman, you could have used the same movie, just insert a cop.
Like I would have loved to watch this even if it was just like Robert Pattinson and Jeffrey
Wright as Commissioner Gordon. We're gonna talk about that.
I'd love to see those two have their own like gritty,
Man,
hard-boiled.
they
cop
are
story.
a great combination of the cop, the black guy's the calm guy, and the white guy is the loose cannon.
You could make they could be the new
Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon.
They
Like,
could be the next
they
Lethal
really
Weapon.
could. They should be. Robert Pattinson can be the new Murtaugh.
Yeah, I know. No, that's Riggs.
Because especially his brand of crazy works so well.
Yeah.
With Jeffrey Wright's like, man, I tell you, this is some crazy shit.
What you think about Jeffrey Wright, Commissioner Gordon?
I love him.
I
love
thought
him.
he was great too, man. He was a cool guy, and he was that perfect.
That
he was
veteran detective.
Right, he was the perfect veteran detective. He was the perfect partner for the Batman. You know what I'm saying? Because I love stuff where he was kind of like, he's like, all right, we got to go. And then Batman kept looking. Do we really got to go?
Like you cannot be here.
Yeah, no. It was just kind of a cool guy, and
Like even we'll save that for the spoiler discussion.
what's that?
One of the later scenes where he has to help Batman with something when they're in the precinct.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they got a little. I guess I said they got a clip of that when he punched him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but we ain't got to say the context of that.
But it's like when he's just like let him know, it's like, yeah, you gonna have to.
Yeah. But no, and I like the fact that he's not commissioner yet. He's a lieutenant.
Yeah.
And he's trying to he's the only cop that's not dirty, trying to actually solve crimes where all the cops around him dirty.
Because I hate that I keep comparing this to Year One, but it's like in the same way Year One is kind of a Jim Gordon story. Batman just happens to be like a focal point of it.
Yeah.
I think they did a great job of keeping Gordon in this movie.
Yeah, right. And that's what I'm saying. He did get annoying because those characters sometimes get annoying. He wasn't annoying. He was a cool guy that
And he was competent.
Right, that was competent, and I felt that he was trying to he tried to solve this, but think everybody around you corrupt. The only person ain't corrupt is this dude that dressed up like a bat.
Like they even
and he said that
like,
you're the only person I trust.
Yeah. and the thing I think that gets overlooked in the whole like Batman Commissioner Gordon thing in the comics is like that's what their whole relationship is based off of. at the end of the day, GCPD has been corrupt for as long as Gordon has been alive.
Yeah.
Right? So he knows at the end of the day, if he needs to talk to somebody who he knows isn't on the wrong side of what he's dealing with, he can talk to Batman.
Right.
He can't get bought, he can't get bribed, he can't get blackmailed. Batman is always on mission.
Right. But you definitely. But so that I love all that. So let's talk about the action.
Yes.
And of course we'll talk about the story and all that more in spoiler, but let's talk about the action. The action was great. I loved all that, and I heard people complaining about some stuff, right?
Really?
Yeah, they full of it. Because when I watched it, I'm like, oh yeah, y'all full of it. Or a lot of people who don't know Batman, they probably wanted something else, you know. Now, mind you, this is a very adult take on Batman. This is a crime drama, not just a superhero movie.
Right.
It just had a superhero in it. And so they had some they had some fight scenes, and the complaint, a guy said that Batman looked like he got his ass whooped too much. And so I was coming in expecting Batman to
Why would you even draw that?
I know, that's what I said. So I was expecting him to come in or lose a lot or whatever. Like, no.
He took a couple of straight hits.
Exactly.
That's it.
Which makes it more realistic because if you getting jumped, you're going to catch a couple of hits.
Yeah. Nobody fights clean. Nobody fights
Dude,
clean.
I'm telling you, it make it so bad it's realistic because he took those hits and he just was so determined. And he just, you know what I'm saying?
And you can tell when he's eating them. That's the thing
Right.
I love about it. It's like, even with, like, he never just no-sells a hit.
Yeah.
Like, you can see him fighting through the hit to get at the dude that just hit him.
Right. It wasn't no fake choreograph where he come in, he beat all these people and don't get touched.
Yeah.
And you
Like,
know,
just like bobbing and weaving them and everything.
and everybody didn't wait. They turned when he fought.
No, they
when he-
swarmed
matter
his
of fact,
ass.
I-
Yeah.
When he fought these guys here, they swarmed him.
Yeah.
They swarmed him, and he started taking them out. And he took hits.
Yeah.
They swarmed him. He took hits, and he started breaking on. That's why he's smart enough to break arms. He started breaking some arms, so that person's gonna stay down.
Yeah. that dude is not gonna punch me again because
Right.
he can't move his arm without screaming in pain.
Right.
It's like, because I think one of the things I love seeing in, like, you know, Dark Knight Returns, and also you see a bit of it in BVS, where it's like he's going for elbows and knees. It's like a bruise you might work through, but when you cannot physically actuate your limbs, you're out of the fight.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about you anymore.
Right.
And you see that in here too, where it's like
Which is
he's
smart.
disable
him, and that's a smart way. Especially if you getting jumped. If you disable one, he's gone.
Yeah.
You disable. You take them out the fight. You ain't trying to look cool.
Yeah.
You ain't trying to do 100 backflips.
There's no
wasn't no
flash.
backflips.
Yeah, you ain't doing nothing flashy. You ain't doing any extra movements.
It was good street fight.
Get them down and out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and so yeah, I love the action scenes and the fight in there. That's I thought. Okay, this dude full of crap. And I feel like some people said it was bad just so they can have a opposite opinion.
Well, like there's that.
It's like clickbait.
That, and I think like terms like master martial artists get overblown in pop culture.
Yeah. Right, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's my problem because they make it too clean.
Yeah.
They make a person take out 8 people and not get touched,
Yeah.
and everybody perfectly stand in the right spot for them to do
Yeah.
twirl kicks.
Or
and shit.
like they'll do dumb shit like it's like they beat like 10, 12 people and they never move from this one spot.
Right, and everybody just wait their turn.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that.
Fights are not clean.
And you
Every
got-
fight is dirty.
Yeah, and that's why I respected that.
Yeah.
But so the action was good, and we had to, and then of course they had to introduce the Batmobile.
The best introduction I've seen for a Batmobile.
Man, woo,
This car, man.
bro, this. Like, hey, so you was building that the whole time? What engine is that? Did they say that?
No, they don't. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay,
You think that's street regulation?
well, you know what? If we go to the DMV and see if he registered it, then we can figure out who Batman is. But
Is it a similar setup to how you would make a like a Lamborghini where the engine is in the back?
Well, so it is a rear engine. So like most Lamborghinis are mid-engine, so they're set a little further forward in the car, just behind the seats.
I just remember seeing it right behind the seats. You always got that big engine right there.
So this is like rear engine. So this would be more like some like jet powered. Some of the jet powered like cars they use to like set land speed records and shit.
Right.
So it's like it's all the way at the back, and everything is built to just support this engine.
Yeah.
Granted, unlike those cars, this also has a metric ton of armor.
That's what I would say. Yeah, it had to have armor because it bust through. It bust through the little. Was that like a pipe or something?
Concrete.
Concrete pipe.
It was like a concrete pipe or a barrier or something.
Yeah.
But like he was busting through everything.
Yeah.
So like nothing was stopping.
So it had to have some weight on it.
Yeah. But like there's a moment when it first starts up and you can hear it. You can't see it. You don't
That's
know.
the best.
You don't know what
scene.
you don't even know what's coming on.
No, I love their reaction.
Yeah,
I love the
it's great.
criminals'
But, like,
reaction to
they
it.
respond to every part of this car starting up. So first the engine starts to spin up, and you hear it whining as it starts to spin up.
Boy, that yeah.
Then
And
it catches.
He scared the crap out of him when he just thought when he revved the shit.
Yeah.
Everybody got scared and got down. The shit. What the hell was that?
Like this engine is trying and failing and just barely failing to shake this car and the building in front of it apart.
Man,
And it's just like this red glow starts to come out of the engine out from under the hood.
yeah.
Then the lights come on. Then he revs the damn thing.
Hold
and
on.
it jumps.
The best part, man, is with the penguin. The penguin was like, "You mess with my money." Man, he saw that car, man. He jumped in it. They was like, "Hey, boss, I got the money, man. Fuck that money. Fuck
the money. I'm out."
Hey, man, he left the money and everything. He's like, "I'm out."
I am not fucking with that car, man. I love it so much, like because that again, already they built this Batman so perfectly to exist in the world they made for him. Where it's like his car looks like something that crawled out of hell. I don't want to fuck with it. It's just so badass. I love that car, man.
But so I mean, the action. So the movie is long though. It's 3 hours long. So I heard some people say it was boring. I didn't feel bored
It's
at
not
all.
boring. It's just long.
Right. Right. Part of that has to do with that ending. Like it's like an extra 40 minutes that was like, okay, this is added.
Yeah.
Where he's like, okay, so this could have been a good 2 hour and 15, 20 minute movie. Instead, it ended up being 3 hours.
Yeah. and it doesn't feel like it's better for it to me. It feels like they could have chopped that last bit off and saved that for later.
I think they should have made into 2 movies.
Yeah.
Where I feel like you ended here, that would perfectly get, because you're making me stay longer than I want to stay because I was satisfied with what you had. So now you hurting yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like you've been on a good performance, but you're not getting off the stage, and you hurt you hurting your performance by not saving something for later.
Like I would have especially loved if they could have introduced another plot point coming off of how that last act started to carry the next movie.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, could have been Court of Owls, could have been Hugo Strange, anything.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And they introduced the hush element already. So, is that a spoiler? Well, it's not a big deal. They didn't really do that. It was just Easter egg.
It was just Easter
But
egg.
what I'm saying is that was a good way to kick off the next movie, which they want to do another movie. But I'm thinking like, dude, you film all this now. You got 4.5 hours worth of material shot. You make two 2-hour movies, 2 hours and 15-minute movies. Isn't that you making more money?
Yeah.
All you spending the money on is marketing.
Because like you consolidate your production costs that way.
Yeah, because you don't have to get back out and shoot another movie.
Don't have to get a new round of permits.
Yeah, so now your part 2, you got time to get that part 2 together.
Yeah.
You don't have to rush that.
Do that shit like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter. Just keep filming.
Yeah.
Just keep filming.
I'm just saying when you got that much,
Yeah.
when you got that much of a movie, it's not hurt to break it up.
Nah. And I think part of that is like there's a fear of like, what if we don't do well enough? And I'm just going to say, you're making a Batman movie. You'll do well enough.
Oh, yeah, I know. You're already good, especially when the first one gets just this well reception.
Batman and Spider-Man, it doesn't matter how shit it is, you'll make your money.
Now, I don't know how the Matt Reeves felt like, I made this one movie. I wanted it to all come out. I heard that. That's always kind of a big deal with it's funny how if you let them do their own vision, but you decide to break it up into 2 movies, they would be cool with that. But you'll let them Frankenstein your movie and just chop it up, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like the way they did Zack Snyder. That's part of the reason why he quit. You know, it's like he wanted to do the Justice League. He had like a 2-hour and 40-minute cut, and they was like, no, we want to make it 2 hours. We're gonna cut it up. We'll get somebody else to cut it up or whatever. And I'm thinking like,
that's still.
I would compromise. My compromise would be cut it up into 2 parts, not just destroy it by re-editing it so bad that I barely recognize my own movie.
And then you have to make a whole new movie just to come back from it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But that's Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Now I don't know why Warner Brothers want to wake up now, but they let the dude get free reign to make this movie because this is not a kid-friendly movie.
Yeah.
At all.
Well,
it is PG-13.
Warner Brothers and DC are also kind of at odds at the moment.
Right, but see, the fact of the matter is they got those last say so with this movie because it's Warner Brothers. But I think they just said, you know what, we messed up so much that we're gonna pull back.
We just need a win. Just give us a win.
I know. They I know they couldn't help themselves. They was like, well, what did we change? No, change nothing. But if we could just can we just like drive by a Pepsi logo or something? Look,
focus groups. Who told you to have focus groups? I said no.
Like they probably was like I'm sure they had to hold back so hard on not doing that.
Somebody at Warner Brothers is probably just like snapping their wrist with a rubber band every time they get. Oh, what are we could? Nope.
All right, I'm out. I'm just gonna enjoy the movie, I guess.
It's like,
but no, let's talk about before we jump into the spoilers. Whatever. Yeah. Selena Kyle, Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz. What'd you think of her?
Yes.
I was like, well, that's your only answer.
Well, because what she does so well with this is like balancing the femme fatale, foundation of Catwoman with like actual human like motivation.
Yeah, right.
Like she doesn't
made sense for her to be there.
She doesn't just come in as I'm a cat burglar. I do cat burglar things.
Right, and she didn't. This is what I liked about what they changed a little bit about her motivation and all that. If you watched the last Halloween, especially the animated one, I wasn't crazy about, but she kept on, they played this cat and mouse back and forth, and she played these little games, and she was like, hey, we could be partners. Hey, I could steal this, and all that, and it was kind of like, stop it with that bull crap. It was like a cop that was working on a case, and somebody that needed help that was involved in the case worked with me, and we gonna catch these motherfuckers. Yeah. That's like, basically what it was.
Because like you understand what her stake in the situation is. You understand why she's always there. You understand that the reason he's allowing her to stay there is because she has a unique in to the situation. So he can't cut her out. So might as well put her to work.
So because he attempted to infiltrate himself, and is anybody gonna talk to him?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Like I mean, look.
And I'm hearing people saying stuff, and you just kind of know you don't know if they lying, but he thinking like, who gonna tell me the truth anyway?
Yeah, and like you can see him come to the realization of I can't get information out of these people, especially not in a spot.
Right, they're gonna tell me stuff to get me off their back, but how do I know getting the truth? He said I guess I could torture them, and that ain't gonna work. That's a waste of time. He just had to come up with another way of getting information, and I really liked what they did there with that, and it made sense to bring her in, and they made her useful.
And she has some great scenes in this.
Yeah, it probably said they made her useful, and she was competent, but not competent in a way that it made her overpowered.
Yeah,
I really like.
She feels necessary and she feels essential, but she doesn't feel like she could do it on her own.
Right, and that's why I really love the choreography they use on her with her.
She fights like Catwoman.
Right, that's what I'm saying. She's nimble as hell. Yeah. She fat, and then she got some cool kicks and stuff that I was like, oh yeah, they did a good job on Catwoman, dog. It's like I have no complaints. Some people like the Michelle Pfeiffer, one of the best, and I was like, I was in that camp, but now I'm looking like, okay, in this universe, this Catwoman makes way more sense.
Yeah.
than the other one.
And like also, I do love the fact that I get her being Catwoman a bit more. Whereas like she
never calls herself
Catwoman.
It's always a Selena.
It's like there's a throwaway.
Well, we know Catwoman is basically.
It's a throwaway reference to the fact that she is a cat burglar.
Right.
And so it's like that's where the bat and the cat little sting comes from.
So
it's like there is no like, oh no, this is my brand. I'm Catwoman. I do cat things.
And you know what? After this movie, if she becomes Catwoman and start, being a cat burglar, and Batman don't take her in, I see now they got history.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I get it.
It's like, all right, I ain't gonna take you to jail. We cool, but you better stop.
Look. I'm sorry I didn't call, but you gotta stop stealing.
I know, right. Damn it, girl. Look, I don't want to take you to jail, but you forcing my hand. I'm not gonna do it. And then she'd come on to me, oh, okay.
but you gotta leave the jewels though. You gotta leave the jewels though.
Just stop stealing stuff, all right? But no, I love that the way they use her, man. And Zoe Kravitz did an amazing job.
Yeah.
I'm just so surprised too because I didn't think it was gonna work for real. You know, I thought it was just she becoming a hot name. They just threw Zoe in her. No, shit, she did this.
She did the damn thing. and that's the thing. I think that's the takeaway I want people to have from this movie is like, because keep in mind, if y'all been watching our videos, you know that I haven't really had any actual faith in this movie. I was just giving them enough rope to hang themselves, and then they pretty much used it and somehow managed to make a supercar out of silly string, and I don't know how.
Yeah,
but it's such a great ride, and it's so well crafted, and everyone in it does such an amazing job. Colin Farrell, we
had talked about him. Yeah,
like I told you,
and not one point did I say that's Colin Farrell.
Yeah, I'm like, because I remember I complained so much about the fact of why would you hire Colin Farrell to not be Colin Farrell in this movie, and now I'm like, Colin Farrell can do that. He's been able to do that this whole time.
Yeah, and it was like. Actually, he was funny. He was
great. He was great.
I actually liked a lot of his lines, and they had the scene where I would normally roll my eyes, but I laugh my ass off. Where it was kind of like, y'all just gonna leave me here?
Yeah,
man.
The one thing that stood out to me that's this is a me thing, but
hey, I'm still here.
The shoes he's wearing there are the same kind of shoes Penguin always used to wear, where they've got the prominent heel and the pointed toe.
Yeah.
So it's that was the first time I'm like, oh, he's dressed like Penguin.
Yeah. Oh, he was walking like the Penguin because he was tied up.
I'm like, they knew exactly what they were doing. Yeah. And that's the thing about this movie is Matt Reeves gets Batman.
Right.
In a way that for whatever reason, no one else who makes Batman movies gets Batman to this degree.
I also like with the scene we were just talking about where they inserted some comedy, but in a way that is true to this universe, not out of nowhere, some wacky stuff. You know what I'm saying?
It's not eat floor.
Right. So it was, you stayed in character, you just had something stop. You just had something that was funny that happened to us, but to them it wasn't. And so it worked.
And that's the thing, Batman is always the straight man. So even when the funny stuff does happen around him, he just grunts and goes back to work.
Right. He don't.
We get to laugh about
That's one thing. I don't know if you're looking for some one-liners. He's not a happy guy.
If
we can talk about. Let's talk about Batman. Yeah. I guess we didn't talk about Batman yet.
Yeah. Man.
We talk about the movie.
Yeah.
Well, and we're gonna talk more about all that in the spoilers. But what's your overall impression on Robert Pattinson?
I love his intensity as Batman. The moments where he's not saying anything, he's reacting to the scene around him, and you can see what he thinks about it. You can see what about this scene unsettles him, what intrigues him, what angers him, and he doesn't say a single word when he's emoting. Yeah. And it's just the man's got a mask on and he's dressed like Batman, but I know exactly how he feels in this scene. That's acting.
Yeah.
But also it colors how you see the scene. Because now you see it's there's a footprint in the blood, and you might have glossed over it. But he stares at it for a second, and then you realize that's an awful small footprint.
Yeah.
That's a kid's shoe.
I love that aspect of he see it and he remembers it, and it's something that he's gonna research later and figure something out with.
And he takes note of things. You can see him like investigating. You can see his mind working.
Yeah,
it's not just interesting. So what have we got? Like he's actually doing the work.
Yeah, right.
And you can feel it.
Right. So I thought I feel similar, man. I'm really impressed with his Batman. And you know, we'll talk a little bit about the Bruce Wayne, but the Batman, his Batman was very intense, and I felt all the. And suppose like, oh, you know, he didn't smile. Like, yeah, if he would have smiled, that'd have been went against
like,
his character.
He's Batman.
Yeah.
Like, first off, Batman doesn't smile.
Right.
Occasionally, he may smirk, and even that, you'll be wondering, did I really see that?
Yeah. But no, his intensity as Batman was good, man, and I liked, you know, and then his gadgets. He didn't have that many.
Yeah,
and
they weren't like super high tech. They were mechanical.
They was something that you could put together yourself.
Like, that's the one thing I
not
really
sure they
enjoy.
always will work though.
Right. Like I don't know if you can actually get a
that
functioning
grapple
grapple that small.
Like, what does it connect to?
Like, dude,
don't worry about that.
Dude just said, "Woo."
Or you wait for the bug to come back down. Well, let me try it again. 6 times charms.
Or like when he comes up off of it like super fast and it just like you be sitting there like, man, once I spool this up,
no. Hold on a second. This never happens. Right now is not a good time for this shit to be happening.
Come on, man.
Get this back in there.
But like I love that everything is mechanical, so it's not like just. I always hate when they show him pull out his grapple gun, and it's like this big. It clearly wasn't on his belt before. He just reached to the belt, pulls out this huge grapple gun, like
disconnect or go this way. It's got to connect to the thing. And
yeah.
You press it.
It's like this dude pulls out like industrial grade grapple lines out of his belt, and you never see how that happens. It's like, no, I just got this little one. It's on the backside, inside of my sleeve.
So is that those little things on there? Is that the rope?
I think it might be.
I didn't really pay
or it
attention
could
to
be gas canisters.
Yeah. So he got some Attack on Titan stuff going on there.
Yeah. Hey, look, if he start putting off some Levi moves in the next
that's how
movie,
they shoot off then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so he can only shoot about 6 of them.
Yeah, I guess. But like
he probably got some reloads.
Probably. I mean, it's Batman. But like, there's something that's so good about having that mechanical feel. Like, no, everything has its spot. Everything that you see him carrying has a usage.
Right.
Like, every time he reaches to his belt, you see him pull the thing off his belt. You see him like activate stuff and everything like that. It's not just like reach towards the belt from off camera, pull out some device that you've never seen before.
Activate.
Yeah, it's like everything is in his kit, and you see
the digital batarang. And it just hits everybody.
They
already standing in a perfect circle.
With the telephone pad on it.
They already standing in a perfect circle. All you gotta do is throw that mug, and it just. But no.
I also appreciate we didn't see him throwing batarangs all throughout this.
No batarangs. But I wouldn't have been mad if you had something that you can use to knock people out.
It's just like I wouldn't buy this Batman having bat-shaped shurikens.
Yeah.
Like. He already has a bat-shaped knife in his chest plate.
Right.
And even that's like, look, it's dual purpose. I needed the symbol.
Right.
And I figured
I'm in a tough spot. It's a handy tool.
And no one will expect it when I pull it out. You know, it's like so I get that. I like it.
Okay, so we both in agreement. We love the Batman, but the Bruce Wayne, they definitely got to work on.
Yeah,
definitely got to work on, and we'll talk more about that in the spoilers.
But like they do go in, they do explore that in this movie of like why his Bruce Wayne isn't like Bruce Wayne.
Right. Now, because of them making Bruce so not Bruce, when part 2 come, they better not make him just the Bruce Wayne being the philanthropist.
Like we need to see him build that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna have to, because we've seen him being so dead eyed and I don't give a crap and you know, this didn't even talk. Remember that scene in the funeral where she talking to him and he just not saying a freaking word?
Like, not even just that, but like that whole scene is just like him looking at people funny.
He was reading their lips though. That's what I was noticing.
Yeah.
That's why he was looking at Commissioner Gordon. But then the dumbass said, "Hey, Mr. Wayne, hey," he had to look away.
How you doing, Mr. Wayne? Oh man, God.
He had to look away because dumbass just had to break their. Hey man, they should have showed Lieutenant Gordon just smack him and smack.
I love that same dude. It's like he's always giving Batman shit too. So it's like he's a huge Bruce Wayne fan.
I thought he was going to turn into somebody important.
Nah.
Right, because I thought he was like, he's so stupid that he's doing this deliberately because he's somebody else. He's actually a plant or something.
Yeah.
No, he's just a dumbass.
Like, if they had given him like a heel turn, he's been a mole this whole time. It's
right.
Like, you think you can stop us?
Yeah.
Like,
or he just an ally that they was like, help Batman in any kind of way or whatever. But no,
he's just there.
He's just a dumbass. Just there.
Yeah.
It's one scene before we wrap up. This guy. The guy in the police station, that Bill Wilbur was laughing about this shit for like 20 minutes. The guy in the police station that sound like Mickey Mouse. You son of a bitch. You know what I'm talking about, dog? When they was in the police station, the dude was threatening him, but he sound like Mickey Mouse. And I was like, why is this guy? Why did y'all choose this guy?
He was doing okay, and then he tried to get threatening.
No, he wasn't even doing okay. You got 10 minutes. Right? It was like, why your voice like that? Sound like Mickey Mouse. And you trying to threaten somebody.
You're trying to
all right, give him the room, guys. You got 10 minutes. We're coming in.
Hey, look, you're trying to threaten a guy who you've never seen without his tactical armor on.
Yeah. Well,
who fights criminals every night.
Yeah.
That
was a weird choice.
They needed to bring Morgan Freeman in to repeat his lines from
to dub him.
Yeah.
Dub it over with somebody else's voice.
Like so you believe that this man right here, who dresses up like a bat and goes out and fights people, and you decided you were going to threaten him.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Batman was like, "Are you dirty or whatever?" He didn't say that, but he basically said, "You dirty."
But like,
what are you trying to say? You
but
son
like
of
also,
a bitch!
But like
I'm
also,
not dirty.
This bat-themed vigilante who's twice your size and is beating people in front of you. I'm pretty sure.
But he got all his men. You know, these kind of guys that way.
Fuck your man.
I know, but that's how they are.
Yeah.
They get real tough when they got, because they in a position, not because they're a tough person. But anyway, like man, let's wrap up. But go ahead.
I just love like this dude just casually threw like two of your cops across a room for trying to take his mask off while he was unconscious.
You know what? I'm gonna kick your ass. Get him, guys.
Exactly one of them.
But anyway, but yeah. So I'm gonna give him a rating, man. So if I had any complaints is it was too long, but it was great. It was too long because what you gave me after that was still good, but it was already. I felt satisfied, so you kept giving me more, even though I was satisfied. I don't know if that's a bad thing. Well, it's like we could say that for the next one. It was a bit too long. They could have wrapped it up in 2 hours and 20 minutes or 2 hours 15 minutes. They had I love all the cast or whatever. Robert Pattinson's Batman was scary. He was kind of scary on some scenes. He didn't get that big and all that. We'll talk about that on the. I mean, he had some muscles, but he wasn't bulky.
I think that may have been intentional as well.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we could talk about that. But I had no problems with it. Love the Batmobile. Love the action. Love all the acting. Love the story. I enjoyed this movie. These like movies I see that I love. I'm gonna buy. I said I'm gonna buy this on Blu-ray, and I said this already. I'm gonna buy this on 4K. Listen to this on surround sound so I can hear the theme playing over and over again.
Which reminds me, I need to make sure I save that on my Spotify when it drops.
Yeah. So. I give this movie epic, man. I ain't had no problems with nothing other than it was a bit too long, and I can't see no reason not to give it an epic. So, how you feel?
I agree with you on just about everything you just said. I will say the one thing I didn't enjoy in this movie is the villain.
Oh, we didn't talk about the real deal.
We didn't talk about him.
or Falcone. But
like, because if Falcone had been the villain, I would give this an epic in a heartbeat. Because I love John Turturro's portrayal of Falcone.
Yeah, that was
like,
good.
He's so, despite not doing.
That's
this,
how you be a villain.
Yeah, it's like, he hasn't roughed anyone up. He hasn't ordered anybody killed.
Yeah.
But I am terrified of.
He
this
wasn't
man.
over the top. It was just so slimy enough to be like, this guy, I hate this dude.
Like this guy will order my death and won't even think about it.
And it wasn't mustache twirly evil.
No.
It was just the right kind of evil that you hate and you want him to get his comeuppance.
It was just business evil.
Yeah, right.
And I love just business evil.
Yeah,
It's like,
right.
look, I don't hate you. But if I don't kill you, my business suffers.
Right.
This is my bottom line, bro. You got to go.
He did a couple things himself. I feel like he's doing that for his own pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man.
But
They
they wasn't
had to go hands on.
right.
bro.
But they wasn't in your in your face about it.
Like he
You
didn't just
had to come to
he
your own
didn't just
conclusion about it.
immediately become an unhinged like
Right,
maniac.
and then he didn't say, "Oh, I do this because I take pleasure in it." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like-
you just got to figure that on your own.
Like,
I think he only do that himself because that's his
he
thing.
had one line there where it was like, "See, you made me do this,"
right.
and I love that. Like he's my favorite kind of villain.
So, but yeah, you
Riddler,
said you had a problem with the Riddler.
only because like back when he was like this menacing shadow in the background, I loved him.
Mm-hmm.
Once the reveal comes and he like thinks he's won,
Yeah,
and he proceeds to get steadily more unhinged
yeah.
after his reveal.
They made him so crazy that I don't feel like you could actually reason with him.
Well, like I don't believe he was stable enough to pull off this plan.
Yeah, that
anymore.
too. Because what's his name? Paul Dano. What? Do you know what else he was in?
No.
I was hearing people talk about him a lot, and I don't recall him in anything, but he was a bit over the top for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I don't need you to be this crazy.
Like, because the Riddler can be a maniac, but isn't necessarily a maniac.
Yeah.
But like also the Riddler, as they have him in here, I can see him going manic at the point of defeat.
Man, so it's just like them loonies. Excuse me. It's just like saying somebody. It's just like when somebody say,
"We're getting canceled."
No, when I spoke out. I wasn't ready. I was thinking that, but what I meant to say was when people call them when they called it the loony bin and all that, and it's because they run around screaming, hollering, running into walls, and they got the straight jacket on, they in the padded room.
Yeah.
That is how he played it.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like, that is so over the top.
I loved his initial manic outburst, like when he's giving his little missives, and then like folks interrupt him, and he goes off at him. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, that's the right kind of mania for this character, where he thinks he's in control of himself,
Right.
but he's on a hair trigger. But then like later on in that last act, where it's just like he's so over the top, and it's all he is, and I'm like,
yeah, it's like it was too much for me.
it was too much. So I'm like, I'm a little. I want to give this an epic because I enjoyed it so much, and so much of this movie is done at such a high level. I'm still gonna give it an epic because I enjoy it. Like, because
I was feeling that same way. I had those problems, but I cannot not get his epic.
Yeah.
Because
Like-
the way I felt watching it, that's part of the reason. What that has something to do with my rating.
Yeah.
How I feel. 'Cause
Yeah.
movies supposed to make you feel something,
Right.
right? And a lot of times it's just I'm just doing work.
Yeah.
I felt something watching it.
like I don't want to say this is my favorite Batman movie now because it is also the one I just got done watching.
Yeah, right.
But like this I'm gonna come back to this in a bit, but this may be my new favorite Batman movie.
Yeah. I don't want to say that just yet.
Like it's in position.
Yeah, I know a lot of people love Dark Knight so much that they won't, but I had problems with that movie.
Yeah.
And that Batman, because he got outshined by the Joker in that movie, and that's a whole another subject for another day. But in this movie, the villain did not outshine Batman, but he was kind of what brought the movie down for me. Which they had a good villain, and then it's like, oh yeah, we got this other guy too. Oh yeah,
But I will say
let's do that.
I think that's the one place where this movie didn't keep to its formula, where everything else was, let's make a genre flick. Let's like not a superhero movie. Let's make a cop movie that happens to have Batman in it.
Yeah,
One of the characters just happens to be Batman. And
right.
so it's like,
That's what they did.
yeah. And so if you just carry that and then you go like, it's Batman and Commissioner Gordon versus the mob.
Right.
That part of the movie, chef's
And
kiss.
you know what? Yeah, you're right. This is like a cop drama. It's like 7. It's like a lot of things wrapped in one.
Yeah.
And so it's like you a cop, but then you got Batman is the way you don't have to go through the red tape.
Like Batman,
you don't have
like,
to get the warrant to go in there. Batman, he's going to get you the evidence you need.
If this were a film noir, this would be like he'd be the private investigator that the cops like. Look, we need someone who can get down and dirty with the scum and figure out what's really going on.
Right.
You know, and
but so it was scenes where Batman would walk in there, and I was like, why are they not arresting him? He's the vigilante or whatever.
like he's a known criminal, technically.
But I mean, it get to a point where they was like, man, we need some help.
Yeah.
But all right, man, we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna talk about all that in the spoiler discussion. But yeah, love this movie, man. It's an epic for me. But yeah, so anybody watching our video, like our channel, and you still watching, please subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you get alerts anytime we post new videos or if we live stream.
And if you enjoyed what you've seen here today specifically, I need you to hit that thumbs up down in the other corner. Helps us know that we're on the right track, making the kind of videos y'all like. Helps YouTube know that we're the kind of videos y'all want to see. And please don't forget to drop a comment down below.
Yes, and we out here, y'all.
Peace. That went way too long.